want to tell you a story about two twin brothers. You can read about these guys in the book of Genesis in the Bible. The oldest brother is a guy called Esau, and he's not only the oldest, but he's the biggest. He's famously big and hairy, and if you want to imagine what he looked like, imagine, I don't know, some kind of outdoorsy Bear Grylls, Ray Mears kind of guy, someone who likes to chew logs for breakfast and kind of do adventure. And he was the hunter in the family, so he would go out and he'd sleep out overnight, and he would then get up really early and he'd go hunting. His little brother is called Jacob, and Jacob is probably more of a stay-at-home guy, and it says in the Bible that he used to spend more time with his mum, and it also says he was a bit of a chef. And so one day Esau, the older brother, comes home from the hunt, and he's had a disappointing hunt. He comes home empty-handed, is what it says in the Bible. So he's frustrated, he's had a bad day at the office. And it says that he walks into the tent where his little brother Jacob is cooking up this amazing stew. And Esau loves it. The moment he walks in, he kind of starts to see all the amazing food. He's been out hunting, he's hungry, he gets the smells, all these things arrest his senses. And so he turns to his brother and he says this, he says, "Give me some of that stew." And his brother simply says, "Sure, you can have some stew. I want your birthright." So, asking for the birthright was no small thing. You see, in that culture at that time, the birthright was something that meant three big things. One, it meant this. It meant that the person who owned their birthright would get more money. When their dad died, the inheritance would be split three ways. And then the one with the birthright would get 2/3. So having the birthright meant you got a lot richer a lot quicker. It also meant this, that when their dad died, the person with the birthright would be the one who would get the respect and the honour and the status in the family. They'd become head of the family. And finally they believed this. They believed the birthright gave them favour from God, an extra blessing from God. So what Jacob is asking for is something absolutely massive. He's saying, "I want your future for some food. I want your destiny as the number one son for some dinner. What do you reckon? Are you interested?" Believe it or not, Esau's response was this: "What good is my birthright to me? I'm going to die if I don't have some of this stew." Which is a bit ridiculous, really. There's no way Esau's going to die. He's just going to feel a little bit more hungry. But to him, somehow this stew had started to be the most important thing that he could think of. Even more important than his birthright. Now that might sound stupid, but actually people do this all the time. We make a trade. The things that actually really matter in life, we trade off to satisfy an appetite. You see, it all depends on what your stew is. For some people, their stew is ambition. Maybe it's the promotion. And people will trade things they care about, like their family, their kids, just so they can get that job or that promotion or that salary rise. Other people, it can be appetites of the flesh. Maybe something like pornography, where people will risk their families, their futures, their marriages, their ministries, just to satisfy the urge they have to look at something online. The invention of the internet was a game changer for those that make porn and those that use porn. They say that up to 25% of internet searches are for porn websites. One free porn website gets 4.4 billion hits a month. Porn has never been more available, affordable, and according to scientists, addictive. So, the reality is this is an issue, this is an appetite that loads of us struggle with. So if that's something you struggle with, if porn is something that you've got a problem with, is there anything we can learn from Esau's story that can help us? There are a few things that maybe made this a big problem for Esau. One was he went to a place where he was vulnerable. The sight, the smell of that stew took over and he stopped thinking straight. But the other thing was this, he forgot who he was. He forgot that he was the firstborn son. Somehow that stew made him forget what was really valuable. And actually those two things are what it was all about. He didn't realise when he was vulnerable and he forgot what was valuable. If you've got an issue with porn, we're not going to be able to help you in 2 minutes, but here's some things you could do to start to tackle the issue. Why not list the times when you are vulnerable? Maybe that's a place, maybe that's staying up late when the rest of the family have gone to bed, and then plan to avoid those times. Also, make a list of what is valuable, what really matters to you. Maybe it will be relationships or family or things that God has called you into. And then finally, be dangerously honest. Tell someone that you've got a problem that you want to change, but also about those lists so that they can help you think that through. Maybe the idea of telling somebody you know is too scary right now. But we have a website, clicktokit.com, which is a great place for you to confidentially begin to tell someone and get some support. So you could always check that out. So my challenge is be dangerously honest with yourself, with God, with someone else.